Happening right now on FiOS 1 News, a police officer in Newark is shot responding to a call about an armed robbery. All the latest details live from the scene. Plus, the teenager who climbed to the top of the World Trade Center pleads guilty in court today. How he is being punished just ahead.
Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino is saying New York Governor Andrew Cuomo broke the law. I'm MeganVega7pJuly30, and I'll have more on that and the governor's response coming up.
And the Toms River Little League team are state champions, but one player in particular really hit it out of the park this season. The news starts right now.
FiOS 1 News, Evening Edition.
Good evening, I'm Megan Vega. Welcome to FiOS 1 News Evening Edition. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We're going to get to your top stories in just a moment, but first, it's time for your weather on the ones. Meteorologist Jeff Denoyer is standing by for us in the FiOS 1 Weather Center. Jeff, just another beautiful day out there today, but I have to say, it does not feel like the end of July.
No, it certainly does not, Megan. Beautiful sunshine, beautiful temperatures.
Now to our top story. A Newark police officer is recovering tonight after being shot responding to an armed robbery. It happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon. As the investigation unfolds, that officer has been taken to University Hospital. FiOS 1's Lee Sheps joins us now live with the very latest details tonight. Lee, good evening. All right, Lee, thank you. Well, the New Jersey teenager who made it to the top of World Trade Center has pleaded guilty. 16-year-old Justin Casquejo of Weehawken snuck into the building dressed as a security guard back in March. He entered his plea to a misdemeanor base jumping charge this afternoon in Midtown Criminal Court. He's going to have to serve 23 days of community service, some of which he has already served. Settlements have been reached tonight in 4 lawsuits stemming from a wrong-way minivan crash that killed 8 people back in 2009. The lawsuits were brought against the estate of Diane Schuler and against her brother who owned the minivan that she was driving. Schuler was going the wrong way on the Taconic Parkway when she hit an SUV carrying 3 men. The men were killed along with Schuler, her daughter, and her 3 nieces. An autopsy found that Schuler was drunk and stoned. An attorney says the terms of the settlement are confidential. In East Brunswick, a woman's quick thinking led to 2 arrests after multiple GPS systems were stolen out of cars. After the woman heard her car door shut and noticed that her GPS was missing, she saw 2 people walking away from her house. You know what she did? She chased them down. The suspects started running away, so she jumped into her car to continue following them. But you know what? They didn't get that far.
They were fleeing the area, their car actually hit a curb and they got a flat tire. So she was able to kind of follow behind them as she called the police department, and then a couple roads down from where she was, the car got disabled, and that's when the patrol units were able to stop them.
Both suspects are charged with 3 counts of theft, burglary, and possession of stolen property. The 2 candidates for governor in New York both appeared on Long Island today in the wake of the New York Times saying that Governor Andrew Cuomo interfered with his own anti-corruption commission. FiOS 1's Kevin Vesey joins us now live in Mineola with the latest details. Kevin. All right, Kevin, thank you. Well, Montclair State University announced a major policy change when it comes to admissions. Students are no longer required to submit SAT or ACT scores with their application. It is the first public university in New Jersey to announce the change. The school says that they will put more emphasis on students' GPA combined with their course load in high school.
One of the things that we clearly learned was that students who took rigorous courses in high school and who really worked hard while they were in high school did better than their SATs would have demonstrated.
Earlier this year, Hofstra University on Long Island announced that they will also make the test optional for undergrad admissions. The Garden City Hotel, a Long Island landmark, is celebrating its 140th anniversary. Since 1874, the Garden City Hotel has been a retreat for many big names, from the Vanderbilts to the Kennedys and the Clintons. It was where Charles Lindbergh stayed the night before his 1927 transatlantic flight, and where famed actress and Garden City resident Susan Lucci once worked.
While my parents paid for my education, I had to earn my spend money in the summertime, and so I worked here that first summer as a waitress. I learned about in a minute and a half I'd rather be the hostess, so I came back the next 3 years of college in the summertime to be the hostess.
The hotel recently underwent a complete renovation. Toms River is celebrating another New Jersey Little League championship win this year, and while the whole team has played hard all season long, one of their players has really been a standout star on the field, and that star also happens to be the only girl on the team. FiOS 1's Natalie Patterson is in Toms River with her story. Natalie. She is pretty amazing. It is time once again for your weather on the ones. Meteorologist Jeff Denoyer joins us with more. Jeff, you're a baseball fan. That little girl is pretty good.
You know, I wouldn't heckle her because she's just going to get mad and she's going to strike you out and she's going to hit a home run off of you, right? Good for her, though. Congratulations to the Toms River Little League team. We'll see if it continues for the second half of the weekend coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, we will see. Jeff, thank you. Coming up next on FiOS 1 News, the NYPD detective injured in a fugitive shootout is out of the hospital today. The impressive scene outside Bellevue Hospital as he was released. Plus, a woman who lost her wedding dress when Superstorm Sandy hit thought she would never see it again, where the dress turned up almost 2 years later. And as we head to break, let's take a look at some of your winning lotto numbers. Good luck. The NYPD detective injured in a shootout with a fugitive in the West Village earlier this week has been released from the hospital. Hundreds of fellow police officers were there clapping and cheering as Detective Mario Muñez left Bellevue Hospital at around noon today. Muñez was shot in the stomach right below his protective vest during a shootout with suspect Charles Mosdier. 2 U.S. Marshals were also hurt in the shooting. They were released from the hospital on Tuesday. Mosdier was killed in the gunfire. Like so many who lost beloved possessions when Superstorm Sandy hit, one local woman thought that she would never see her wedding dress again. This after the cleaner she left the dress with was destroyed. But as FiOS 1's Molly Rokasi shows us, more than 2 years later, the woman and her dress have been reunited. And that was Molly Rokasi reporting. Still ahead, more civilians are killed in an Israeli attack on a UN school. What the White House has to say about the violence. Plus, a woman is nearly killed by a train, and it's all caught on tape. While the Indiana Railroad released the chilling video. The White House tonight is condemning an attack on a UN school being used as a shelter in Gaza. The attack killed 17 people and wounded 90. The White House stopped short of condemning Israel by name, but the Israeli military acknowledges firing on a school after it says a Hamas mortar was fired from that vicinity. A separate Israeli strike on a crowded shopping area in Gaza City killed an additional 16 people. The Palestinian death toll in Gaza has now passed 1,300. Officials are starting to add up just how much it's going to cost to make repairs following yesterday's massive water main break near the campus of UCLA. A nearly 100-year-old pipe burst on Tuesday afternoon on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, sending water gushing into the air. Just take a look at that. 8 to 10 million gallons of water flowed onto the campus and turned the stairs into a waterfall. Students had to wait around the famous Pauley Pavilion, which suffered major damage to its famed basketball court. We turn now to an incredible close call caught on tape. In an effort to keep people off the tracks, the Indiana Railroad released this video as a warning. Watch as a train barrels down the tracks. 2 women, they suddenly appear in its path. Now, you can actually hear the train engineer applying their emergency brakes, but the 100-car coal train traveling 30 miles per hour, it can't stop. Look at the 2 women right there. Both women begin to run. One of them actually lies down in the middle of the track. The other one trips, but leaps back onto the track.
The engineer assumed that he was calling in to our dispatch office to let him know that he had killed 2 people. Thankfully, they crawled out from underneath the train.
The woman survived in a space of about 10 inches between the bottom of the train tracks. The only danger these 2 women now are facing: criminal prosecution for trespassing. Well, today is National Cheesecake Day, and to celebrate, some restaurants are offering free or discounted slices of the very popular dessert. The Cheesecake Factory is offering any slice of cheesecake for half off the regular price for dine-in guests, both today and tomorrow. The Taco Bueno is celebrating the day by offering a free cheesecake chimney with any purchase. All the more reason to celebrate. Coming up next, the New York Mets were on fire today. Just how much they scored up on their rival, the Phillies. Find out next in a FiOS 1 Sports Report. It is time once again for your weather on the ones. Meteorologist Jeff Denoyer joins us now from the FiOS 1 Weather Center. Jeff.
Thanks, Megan.
It is time now for sports. Here's FiOS 1's Jennifer Williams. Finally, in this half hour, Justin Bieber is making headlines once again, this time for being in a fight against a well-known actor. FiOS 1's Amy Green has that story and more, making headlines in entertainment.
For FiOS 1 News, I'm Amy Green.
Amy, thank you. That is going to do it for this edition of FiOS 1 News. I'm Megan Vega. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can always follow me on Twitter at MeganVega7pJuly30. And also remember, if you do see news happening, be sure to call the FiOS 1 News tip line. Here's that number for you, 877-346-7154. We are your local source for news, weather, and sports, so keep it right here on FiOS 1. We are only on Verizon. Good night.